Okay, the board has not made any decisions on this golf course architect master plan. Our first goal is to understand what the membership wants. And this is why we're having the town hall meetings. The second thing that we will decide is if the membership wants this plan, if they want some of it, if they want all of it, if they want none of it, what it is the membership wants. Once that's decided, we will have to decide the length of the plan. Can it be a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 7-year, or a 10-year plan? So once that's decided, whoops, I'm gone. Once that's decided, we will have to go to the Finance Committee. The Finance Committee will have to look at the budget process and see if we have the money to do this based on the length of the plan that we're going to choose if we choose a plan. From there, the board will be able to make a decision based on all of the things that I just discussed. But until that happens, nothing is going to happen. So I just want everybody to understand there's no decision that has been made. That's why we want this town hall, and we're going to have another one when the snowbirds come back. This is being taped,
more of those handouts,
and it's going to be on the website. And after Mr. O'Callahan is done with his presentation, there'll be a question and answer period, and all those will also be on the website. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Richard Krieb, who was the chairperson for the ad hoc committee.
Hey, Richard. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Carol. Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is the first of at least 2 or 3 town hall meetings we're going to have regarding the master plan. We wanted to get this up in front of everybody as soon as possible, and that's why we're doing it at this time of the year. I got volunteered as a chairperson for the ad hoc committee for the master plan, and last year the board of directors, after months of interviewing, contracted with Casey O'Callahan Golf Course Design Incorporated. Part of that contract with Mr. O'Callahan required him to design a golf course master plan. That's why we're here tonight. Part of the process included in the master plan included them the board required them to create an ad hoc committee to help him design and create this master plan. The ad hoc committee consisted of Jackie Mullen, Tom Brady, board members, Tom Brady, Bill Reed, Shelley Daly, Andy Diaz, and Robert Duncan, and myself. The purpose of this meeting is to present and educate the members on the process of the master plan and how this plan will provide a roadmap of future improvements for Mission Lakes Country Club. We are really pretty fortunate to have Mr. O'Callahan as our designer, let me tell you. When you look at his resume, it's really pretty impressive. He's located in Newport Beach. He's been there since 1993, and his firm focuses solely on designing new golf courses and golf course renovation, planning, construction, and that's throughout the United States, Asia, and Latin America. Mr. O'Callahan graduated from the University of California at Berkeley, from the School of Environmental Design. A few of his honors and awards include, as indicated in the hand I gave you, included a 2007 Golf Digest. He was voted the Eisenhower course at Industry Hills was honored as one of the top 5 new renovations for the year. 2004, Travel and Leisure magazine voted Arroyo Trabuco Golf Course, Mission Viejo, California, as one of the top 10 new golf courses for the year. There's some, and if any of you have ever played Canyon South in Palm Springs, as you know, the Indians purchased that property and tore it out and rebuilt a new golf course. The new golf course is Mr. O'Callahan's design and construction. Some of his other projects include Los Coyotes Country Club in Buena Park and Wood Ranch in Simi Valley. Please understand, as Carol mentioned to you, that this town hall meeting is not about financing this project. We're here to discuss we're not here to discuss issues about funding or how long is it going to take to build or what projects we're going to do first. Those questions will be should be asked later and is for another time and another place. There will be questions and answers after Mr. O'Callahan's presentation, so be prepared to ask some good questions so we know that all of us understand exactly what this is all about. So please welcome Casey O'Callahan.
Before I begin, I just want to say what a pleasure it has been working on this project. And I've been in the business for 20 plus years, and what makes a great project is the people that you deal with. And you know, everybody from Richard to Andy to Robert to Tom, it's been a really enjoyable process. And to boot, you've got a beautiful golf course. And what we're here to do is not to radically change Mission Lakes Country Club. We don't need that. You've got a great golf course. What we're looking to do is enhance what you already have. And so that's part of this master plan process, and I hope that I'm able to convey that over this presentation. So in this presentation, what I'll do is I'll give you a quick introduction about our firm, and Richard's covered most of it. I'll give you an overview of the master plan, the mission statement that we came up with that guided the master plan process, how we're going to look at each of the golf course features, whether it be the tees, the greens, the sand bunkers, the car paths, a hole-by-hole presentation, and walk you through each step of how we've taken this master plan and the principles and the mission statement and integrated that into each portion of each golf hole. We'll go over some preliminary projected costs and then some potential prioritized projects that we've come up with that we would recommend that would be implemented potentially first. And then lastly, the conclusion and any questions that you may have. So I'll go through this really quickly, but I've been in the golf course industry actually since 1990. I worked for a gentleman for 3 years, and truth be told, it's one of those. Am I still good? Okay. It's one of those interesting moments where what you don't know helps you out. And I thought after 3 years that I was going to go out and start my own company, and realized how difficult it was, but realized that I got to do exactly what I wanted to do, and I was able to follow my passion. And since 1993, we've had the opportunity to work on some great projects, and Richard's mentioned a few, but Arroyo Trabuco, Indian Canyons, the Eisenhower course, those are all courses that we eventually got to work on and allowed us to really do some wonderful renovation work. So why is it important to have a master plan? And I'll read from this, but the intent of the master plan is to create a comprehensive plan and roadmap for all future modifications to the golf course. The following information outlines the overall design concept as well as a hole-by-hole analysis of the proposed changes to the golf course. Really what we're trying to do is create a roadmap for future improvements. And we've come into many courses where you've seen different green committees that have worked on different projects. You realize you can kind of see where one green committee is working on this project, another green committee on that project. And what we endeavor to do with the master plan is create one comprehensive plan that we're all moving in the same direction. Mission statement. Mission Lakes Country Club is a beautifully maintained upscale Am I standing Am I better over here? All right, sorry. Mission Lakes Country Club is a beautifully maintained upscale semi-private club in Desert Hot Springs, California. The golf course is played predominantly by an active membership of players in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. The design intent for the golf course is to create a consistent style of architecture throughout the golf course. The proposed design changes will be aesthetically pleasing, playable, and easy to maintain. One of the major goals is to make Mission Lakes Country Club enjoyable and playable from a variety of tee distances for golfers of all ages. And again, what we're endeavoring to do is really create a comprehensive plan that addresses all these issues. And we want to make sure that the changes that we do to the golf course are going to be consistent with the type of membership and what you guys need. And so we're not out to create the hardest golf course. We're out to create a golf course that's beautiful, that's playable, that you can play in your 60s, your 70s, and your 80s. Golf course features, yardage. This is one of the interesting things that I first noticed when I came to the course. It's important that the overall yardage and individual hole yardage allow for variety and playability from all tee complexes. The proposed scorecard strives to create a set of tees that will be enjoyable for all members. All the golf holes, especially the par 3 holes, have been studied to ensure that golfers will use different clubs throughout the golf course. And what this basically means is when we first toured the golf course, we realized that you had quite a few golf holes where you were hitting the same club, especially on some par 3s. And we really tried to break that up. Ideally what we'd like you to do is on each par 3 that you're going to be hitting a different club, that you're not going to be hitting a 5-iron on 3 different par 3s, that you're going to be hitting potentially a low iron club, a mid iron club, a high mid iron club, and maybe even a short club. What we've done is we've looked at your yardages. Currently you've got yardages of about 6,700 yards from the blue tees, 63 from the white tees, 5990 from the gold tees, and 5400 from the red tees. And what we're proposing is that we think that there should be an additional tee complex, and that tee complex is going to bridge the gap and allow for better variety of players, or better variety for each player. So the back tees don't change much. We actually can get a little bit longer. The blue tees are fairly consistent but get a little bit longer. We're proposing that the white tees, or the new white tees, would be about 6,200 yards. And then we've got 2 tees that would be short of 6,000 yards, one at 5,700 yards and one at 5,200 yards. And again, we're looking to try to create variety and allow players to be able to play the golf course based on their handicap and their age. One of the interesting articles that actually came out in the early 1990s was by Alice Dye. And everybody knows Pete Dye, but I don't know if many people know that Alice Dye is a big part of Pete Dye's design firm. And her comment was that most female players who are 18 to 20 handicap cannot reach their respective golf holes in regulation, whether they're playing a par 4 or a par 5. And based on her analysis, she felt that the right length for a 4-tee player who's a 15 to 20 handicapper is somewhere around 5,000 to 5,200 yards. And so based on that information, the course that we did at Indian Canyons over in Palm Springs, and here we'd like to make a recommendation that we have a set of tees that's going to play to a yardage that's going to work. Right here, we've got an analysis of each of the golf holes, whether it be a par 3, par 5, or par 4 yardages. I'm going to focus a little bit more on the par 3 yardages. What we really tried to do, and depending on which tee you look at, we've created a distance that's really going to create some variety. The second hole, if you're playing the black tees, you'd play 160. On the 4th hole, it'd be 140. 8th hole would be 216. 12th hole would be essentially 197. 17th hole would be about 180 yards. And it goes all the way down the line. The red tees, it would be 110, 122, 160, 155, 140. This plays throughout all the different golf holes, but what we're trying to illustrate is that essentially you're going to have an opportunity to play a different club on each one of these par 3s. We've done the same kind of care and feel on the par 5s and on the par 4s as well. Tee complexes. There are currently a variety of tee complex styles throughout the golf course, but the predominant style that you have out there right now is what I would call a runaway style tee. It's a one long tee that's kind of long and thin. What's interesting is the forward portion of many of these runway style tees, especially on downhill holes, they actually block your view toward the landing area. A lot of times if you're standing on the middle or back of those tees, you cannot necessarily see over the front of the tee, and it blocks a significant portion of the fairway. What we've concluded is that you also have tees out there that are separated, where you've got 5 separate tee complexes. And that's going to be our recommendation. And we're making that recommendation for a couple different reasons. Again, one, on the runway style tees, you can't have a tee that's going to be long enough where you might have a par 4 that plays 450 yards, but from the forward tee, the right distance is going to be 360 yards. You know, that would be a 90-yard long runway style tee. So what we're proposing is to have 5 separate tee complexes that are all kind of the proper size, but differently situated so that you can have an individual tee complex for each one. What that also allows us to do is to change the angle of where certain tee complexes play. You might have a back tee that is going to be further to the right that might have to challenge a bunker, but your white tee or your silver tee can be moved over to the left to give a better angle into the fairway. And by having these separate tees, that allows us to do that. With a runway style tee, we don't have that opportunity because usually you've got the runway style tee facing right at the target. Here are some examples of just the tee complex style that we choose, where we have separated tee complexes, where you've got a red, a white, and a blue tee in separate distances. Again, another example. This is Indian Canyons, where we've just got real subtle differences, but separate tee complexes.